And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Line to Gain. I am Corey, and with me, as always, Mr. Bobby Lehman. Boy, boy, boy. Bobby Lehman in the house, fresh off a Solace BLG stream. Out there playing some Warzone, were you?
Yes, trying to. The game is in shambles at this point.
I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's exciting. What do you mean by that? It's in shambles.
There's just a lot wrong with it. It's new. So
Glitches and whatnot.
The audio sucks. The guns aren't balanced, amongst a lot of other things. So
Okay. All right.
but this is a sports podcast. This isn't a gaming podcast.
We're gonna get it. Yeah, just we're not gonna let you bring that baggage in here. We're gonna check it at the door.
No.
It's gonna be all good.
Oh, it's already at the door.
Perfect. It's Thirsty Thursday. What are you sipping on there, Robert?
Oh, just the Bud lattes.
Oh, Bud lattes. I got one of my buddies brought this over for New Year's, so I'm sharing it with you all now. I'm gonna block this light that I have right here. It's called Shorts Locals Light. It's just a
I've heard
lager.
Shorts is really good.
Shorts is one of my favorite breweries in Michigan. Absolutely one of the. I believe it's in Bel Air, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, Elk Rapids is where it's canned. But I think they have a brewery like with a pub and everything in Bel Air, Michigan, up northwest Michigan.
It should be in West Philadelphia.
Born and raised, yeah. And but this one, it's only 3 carbs. So I've been trying to cut the carbs. I'm going to Cabo in 33 days. Not like I'm counting or anything.
No, 33 days, 10
Cheers.
hours, 4 minutes, and 36 seconds.
Pretty much. So it's good tasting beer. And this was the beer that I referenced last on Tuesday. I said, first half of the Bengals game, I wasn't drinking anything. Second half, I cracked the shorts. I got into it. The Bengals started mounting the comeback. So this is the lucky beer. And if you'll notice, I got some new threads today, fresh in the mail for the show.
I did see that.
Joe Burrow on the Iron Throne, the King of the North. The King of the North. So welcome to Line to Gain. It is the regular season finale. We're going to be going through tonight and picking all the games. We want your input. I want to hear what you're picking this week in a weird week where a lot of players are going to be sitting, whether it's injury, whether it's COVID, where it's resting up for the playoffs. There's going to be a lot of things. We got a barn burner between Case Keenum and Brandon Allen happening in the mistake on the lake known as Cleveland later this weekend. And not the matchup we had thought. 4 weeks ago, we were thinking maybe Burrow-Baker in a AFC North championship game. Not going to be the case, but nonetheless, we will get into all that. We want your picks. So if you're new to the show, if you're just joining us tonight for the first time, go ahead and like the stream. Share it if you're feeling frisky. Go ahead and follow Go ahead and follow Rally Towel Sports as well, where you can get all your Line to Gain and Town Hall Tuesdays. And after football, we'll be getting into basketball and baseball.
Absolutely.
Will be right around the corner, hopefully.
And I just put a poll question up in chat. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? The Chiefs, the Packers, the Buccaneers, or other? I can't list all of the teams that are qualified, so I listed 3 of the best teams. And then, if you have a different one, type it in chat. Let us know your thoughts so we can break it down.
No, I appreciate that. And we actually posted something earlier this week asking who's down to who can take off the Packers in the NFC. And I got a response saying that the Cowboys, the Rams, and the Buccaneers can all take down the Packers. Before we get into the picks tonight, I mean, do you think that that's legit? You think Packers can be taken down by all 3 of those teams?
I mean, anything can happen on Sunday.
Sure.
The way that Aaron Rodgers is playing right now, I find it hard to believe. If Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs is a different beast. Every season he comes and brings it. I mean, he's playing with a broken toe right now, and he's the leading MVP candidate.
Right.
The dude's incredible. So
no, he's
I think those teams have a chance. I think the team least likely to beat them is probably the Buccaneers. They've not been playing good football the last couple of weeks.
Fair.
But unless obviously Tom Brady turns into a different animal in the postseason, so never count him out. But
No, I think that's fair. The only caveat to that, the only thing that I would say in rebuttal to that even is just the fact that the Bucs did it last year in Lambeau in the NFC Championship game, you know?
they sure did.
That being said, I don't think Matt LaFleur makes the same mistake he made last year, putting the ball at the foot of his kicker rather than in the hands of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think, especially in an MVP caliber season that Aaron Rodgers is having. That being said, I saw an interesting video today.
Yeah, do tell.
So while I was waiting to get my root canal done, which I had today.
That's
by
why
the way.
That's why you said that. That's why you said you were going to tell me about your day.
Yeah, and you have a root canal, you get bourbon. That's the rule. It's in the Geneva Convention. It's written. You get a bourbon after a root canal. So I had a couple of those, but to grease myself up for the show tonight. But
yeah, that just takes the pain away.
Yeah, it's as my cousin Eric said, it is nature's painkiller. Yeah, I don't need opiates. I don't need them. Just give me bourbon. Give me Bullet on a large block of ice, please. So as I was waiting for that, I saw an interesting video from Colin Cowherd today. And basically the premise of the video was you're going to hear a lot of things about political reasons for people not wanting to vote for Aaron Rodgers for MVP, right? You heard one MVP voter came out and said, I'm not going to vote for Aaron Rodgers because he's a jerk, basically.
I did read that today.
Right, the off the field issues, which it's not a Man of the Year award, right? The MVP. The MVP is not an award based on who you are as a person. It is strictly about your value to your team and your performance on the field. Value to the team being a large part of that, and the reason why it has become essentially Best Quarterback of the Year award. Right? It's been very difficult.
I think there should be two separate awards. I think there should be an MVP for quarterbacks, and then I think there should be an MVP for skill positions.
You know what? I think I agree with that. I would say that the MVP should no longer be. I think there should be a Best Quarterback award, and in honor of John Madden, there should be a John Madden Player of the Year award.
Oh, that would be great.
I think that's the perfect solution, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. I actually really like that.
Player of the Year, the John Madden Player of the Year, and then the Best Quarterback Award or number one quarterback award or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They'll call it the John Kitna Award, whatever.
Right.
Which coincidentally, the John Kitna Award is the award of it's the trophy in my fantasy league. That's what you win. You win the John Kitna Championship.
That's what you get for
trophy.
winning?
The John Kitna Championship trophy.
That's fantastic.
It is, right?
I actually saw him at Fairfield High School. He was watching his cousin play basketball there.
Wow.
Yeah.
When was this? Like today? Like what do you mean?
No, this is when we were in high school. Sorry, that's just a random fact.
So anyway, back to what I was gonna say. Colin Cowherd was saying you're gonna hear a lot of these political things about why Aaron Rodgers won't be the MVP. But he had said that if you look at just numbers alone, Joe Burrow should be MVP.
Really?
It's a two-horse race in his opinion. It's Joe Burrow or it's Aaron Rodgers. And when you look at what Joe Burrow has versus what Aaron Rodgers has, in terms of team, in terms of coaching, in terms of front office, in terms of playing in a more difficult division, because let's just be honest, the NFC North is trash.
Correct.
The AFC North is one of the more competitive divisions. Now the Bengals thus far have gone 4-1 in that division, with a meaningless game on Sunday essentially.
Right.
And they have run the table in that division in a division where all four up until last week were vying to make the playoffs. So he's saying, in that division, the numbers that he's put up, the way he's performed in the big games, the way he's performed as of late, all of these reasons, Joe Burrow deserves the nod at the MVP. The only knock being the interceptions. Aaron Rodgers 4 versus 14. And the knock on that was the deep ball. Joe Burrow throws it deep more, and thus more susceptible to interceptions. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I think it's cool that in his second full season, Joe Burrow is getting MVP talk. I think that's why you drafted him. And, he's answering the bell.
Yeah, I mean, Pat Mahomes won MVP his second season.
So did Lamar Jackson.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that far fetched. I think what's going to keep him away from it, you say it time and time again, is the market.
Yeah.
Cincinnati is not sexy when it comes to playing in the NFL or any professional sport for that matter.
But I think that tide is kind of turning a little bit. I would
agree.
I think the Bengals are getting a little bit more national market, more national spotlight. And I think the city itself, the city of Cincinnati itself, has kind of been, at least over the last 5 to 10 years, is kind of turning anew. It's becoming a more hip, fun place. There's more things to do. When you look at the banks, when you look at the Dora thing that they've done downtown with the open container, and people can walk around bar to bar and carry drinks around and have fun and do all these things. And you've got a young millennial atmosphere of people that are liking the sports teams and going to the games and being a part of that. And, especially our age group, we grew up in a time when the Reds were in the playoffs relatively consistently, having decent teams. And the Bengals had made a push when we were, finishing high school into college and now a revitalization of again. And so all those fans that went through their formidable years of 12 to 18, now they have money and now they can spend on going to the Bengals and the Reds and being into that. So it's changing a little bit. It is changing a little bit, and I think a big part of that, specifically with the Bengals, is a lot to do with the Blackburn, Elizabeth and Katie Blackburn, kind of taking control, breathing new life into the front office, away from their grandfather and father, Mike Brown. So I do see a little bit of that change. But you're absolutely right. It's the market, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, I mean, my cousin, diehard Jags fan, he's from Florida. He was in town a lot this year. He caught a Braves game, and then he went down to Kentucky to watch the Gators play.
Wildcats?
UK, yep. And he spent a lot of time in Cincinnati. He's like, you know what? Cincinnati's actually a pretty fun town.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, in the summer, there's a lot to do downtown.
Really
now,
is.
there's not. It's not. It's cold. It's gross.
Yeah.
But summertime, Cincinnati's been popping.
One of my favorite things to do in the summertime in Cincinnati, I don't live there any longer, but when I visit, one of my favorite things to do is to start like mid-afternoon in Over the Rhine, bar hopping around over the Rhine, and work our way down the hill and finish at the banks at night. It's one of my favorite things because you're bar hopping around, you're checking out different scenes. You've got the outdoor patios and the beer gardens up and over the Rhine and the breweries and the nice, hipster restaurants and things like that.
Yeah,
and then
you
work it down into the banks, and it's you go to Tin Roof and you got a cover band and everybody's having fun and ripping shots and it's a good time. So
yeah, for sure.
It's great. It's great, and it's great to see it happening and a lot of fun things happening for the city with the Bengals doing well and the Bearcats doing well and things like that.
Absolutely.
So a lot of fun there. So let's go ahead. Looks like we got some people coming into the stream. I appreciate everybody jumping in. If you haven't already, like the video. If you're feeling frisky on this Thirsty Thursday, go ahead and share it as well, and go ahead and follow Rally Tal Sports for more Line to Gain. And we do Town Hall Tuesdays as well, where we just talk about whatever. So Bobby, give us a recap on our Week 17 pick. Give us our standings, and I think we should just get into this.
Trying to do a Corey James
ASMR. Corey crack?
The CC.
The CC.
As we call it. So Week 17, quick recap. I went 11-5. Corey went 12-4. Todd led the way at 13-3. Unfortunately, he's not able to join us tonight. He's tending to the little one. So Godspeed to you. I hope you and Mary are doing well. So I am sitting season long at 142-88. Corey, you were at 146-83. And Todd stands alone at 148-81. So I am 6 games back. Corey is 2. I'm sorry, I am 7 games back from the lead, and Corey is 2. So don't call it a comeback, chat. I'm gonna try.
I'm ready. I'm ready to hear your just outlandish Hail Mary picks as you bring it home. I have to.
So I'm either gonna just I'm already in the grave. I have to find a way to crawl out of it.
Well, I already saw what Todd's first pick was. Let's skip that one because we kind of already hashed Cincinnati. We talked a lot about Cincinnati. I don't want to do Bengals Browns first. Let's
well, he's got the 2 on Saturday.
Oh yeah, Saturday games. I'm sorry.
So we have 2 Saturday games this week. We've got the Chiefs on the road at the Broncos, and then we've got the Cowboys on the road in Philly. First game is not even a question. It's the Chiefs.
Yeah, so the only thing to note about the Chiefs and the Broncos game is just that the Chiefs will not have Clyde Edwards-Helaire again this week. It didn't really seem to be a problem with Williams taking the back. He had a great game against the Bengals. Of course,
Damien Williams is a good running back.
Damien Williams is a good running back. He is a really good running back, and I think the Chiefs are spoiled right now at running back, something that they haven't had since the 2019 season, something that obviously hurt them a little bit earlier this season. And dare I say, I froze again. Hold on, I'll fix this, chat. Don't you worry.
It's all right. I'll hang tight here.
Yeah, but I'll keep talking here, but because dare I say, is Damien Williams better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
I think it's a fair question.
Right. I agree. I think when you look at production, it's hard to argue that, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, he's done a really nice job filling in. I think it's almost important for every team to have 2 solid running backs at this point.
Yeah.
Because we all know the durability of running backs in today's NFL, and it's not good.
To the point where it literally, like statistically and financially, analytically, when you look at it, it doesn't make sense to extend a running back. It literally doesn't make sense. Like, it's not a financially wise decision. Like, analytically speaking, the Bengals extending Joe Mixon was a bad idea. Now, at the same time, Joe Mixon is the second leading rusher in the NFL this year, so behind Jonathan Taylor. So,
right.
I mean, he's a Pro Bowler. So, you
obviously have exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, after they get out of that first big contract, it's basically it's a year by year basis.
Right.
So I think that's why it's important and why so many running backs go for that monster contract up front, because they know that once that contract's up, their career's almost pretty much over.
Right.
I mean, you can only get hit so long by guys that are just freaks of nature. So
let's see.
So Corey,
shout out to
the Chiefs.
Shout out to Greg real quick for liking the stream. Greg, thank you for dropping in, liking the stream. Appreciate you, brother.
I get logins from Netflix from my cousin Greg. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. He's old Greg. I will. Yeah, I mean, the only other injury note on this one for the Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater. He has gone on the IR, effectively ending his season. Obviously, 1 week left for the Broncos, also affectionately known as the Donkeys. But yeah, I got to go with the Chiefs here. They're playing for the number 1 slot.
Yep.
They're fighting.
All hands are on deck.
Yeah.
They're playing the Broncos, so I don't see that being a tough game for them. Next game slated, the Cowboys so it's all divisional matchups this week, by the way, which I absolutely love.
Love it.
That just means the games are going to be quality. It's going to be awesome. Cowboys on the road versus the Eagles. Cowboys are hot. Eagles they skated away last week. They've kind of been, getting by the skin of their teeth when they win, and pretty much for the last month, I would say. The Eagles took on the Washington football team last week.
Yeah.
Washington football team's been playing decent, but they're no Cowboys, and I've got the Cowboys in this one, as does Todd. I can't imagine you're going with the Eagles.
It's hard for me to take the Eagles in this one. Being down 2 games to Todd, I have to pick my wins, and I think this isn't the one. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here as well.
Yep, absolutely. So the first game slated on Sunday, we've got the previously mentioned Washington football team taking their talents on the road, facing the Giants. Now, this is a game, in my opinion, I feel could go either way.
It definitely could. I mean, both teams have literally nothing to play for other than pride and paychecks and maybe some contractual incentives built in. I'm trying to just think about quarterback play here is really the big thing that I'm looking at. Which camp can you bank on more? Then I look at weapons. I feel like Washington has better weapons, better quarterback play, better defense. I feel like they're a more solid team. There's a reason they weren't eliminated from the playoffs as promptly as the Giants. I got to go with the Washington football team. Shout out to my lovely wife, Katie, for liking the video, liking the stream tonight.
What up, Katie? Thank you. Well, this is a
James.
game. Miss James. This is a game that I feel comfortable enough going the other way. I'm 7 games back. I've got to do something.
Makes sense.
I'm taking the Giants for that reason only.
Yeah, good idea. Shout out real quick, excuse me, to number 43, Jay Bruce, for liking the stream tonight.
Number 43.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna just, you know what? Good night, everyone.
Bruce, what up, big dog? Yeah, I was like Troy Polamalu.
I had too much bourbon this evening.
Hey, you know what? It's okay.
Yeah, when you get a root canal, you can drink as much bourbon as you want.
Nobody's gonna hold it against you.
It was written in the scrolls.
The scrolls from way back when.
Bruce, thanks for liking the stream, buddy. I appreciate you.
Appreciate the man. Love you, dude. Next game. This is a game I'm not going to go astray on. It's Browns Bengals.
Hold on. Katie's jumping in the chat with some nonsense. Shouting out, "Go Lions." Love it. Love it.
Hell yeah. But yeah. Corey, you want to break this game down for us?
Bengals Browns. I mean, so you're going Bengals? Is it you're not comfortable going astray? Is that what you just said?
Correct. This is not a game I want to bet against.
Like, Baker has been so bad that I almost feel like Case Keenum is an improvement.
I would agree.
Is he an improvement on a healthy Baker? No. Healthy Baker is better than Case Keenum. Let's get that out of the way. That nonsense is garbage. Or, that's just garbage. That being said, the Bengals are going to be without Joe Burrow, without B.J. Hill, without Joe Mixon, without. The list goes on and on and on. You're going to be looking at basically a 1.5 string, like right in between first and second string Bengals team. That's what you're going to be looking at. And they're okay with that. Honestly, a lot of Bengals are out due to COVID. It's not due to injury. A lot of these Bengals are not going to be playing due to COVID.
Joe Mixon's not playing this week either.
Because of COVID. Yeah, Joe Mixon, B.J. Hill, they're out because of COVID. I want them all to sit in a hotel room and all get COVID this week. Let's all get COVID now, because the new NFL protocol states that after you have COVID, after 5 days, you cannot be tested for 90 days. Let's all get COVID. Bruce, we're going to get to that in a minute. Bruce talking about the Raiders-Chargers tie. We're going to get to that in a minute. But I want them all to get COVID right now, have no symptoms, and then just be back in 5 days. That's what I want. But not going to happen. They're not going to do some silly shit like that. Burrow saying he's going to do literally everything that he can to not get COVID, saying it would be tragic if he got COVID right before the playoff game, which it would. Insane. I would cry.
Yes, that would suck.
Yeah, it'd be stupid. That being said, I'm going with the Browns in this one. I think the Browns. You? Yeah, I think. I don't know. I trust Case Keenum more than Brandon Allen. I think he's got more experience. And
all right, I'll ride the train. Todd went with the Bengals. I'll take the Browns. Let's do it.
Oh, I flipped you.
You flipped me. You convinced me.
Wow. Okay, John Kerry, you flip flopper.
Hey. No, I mean I've got to take chances. You make great points. The Bengals, there's a lot of people out. The Bengals don't really have a lot to play for this week.
What's that?
The Bengals don't have a lot to play for.
No, it's basically you're solidifying.
Case Keenum's got more to prove than the Bengals.
Yeah, Case Keenum, he's looking for another opportunity, another contract, continuing to be a backup quarterback. Brandon Allen, I think he's pretty comfortable where he's at. He's got experience with Zach Taylor, and I think it was Los Angeles they were together. And I just don't see it being a thing that the Bengals are really, they care if they win. Like 3 seed, 4 seed, who cares? We get Colts or we get Patriots, whatever. We're ready for either one, I think.
Sure. All
Bruce
right.
sharing the video. Bruce is feeling saucy tonight. Sharing the stream. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, big dog. All right. Another AFC North matchup. Steelers on the road in Baltimore. Big Ben's last game ever.
Is it?
I mean, after the way that he ended last week's game with the tears and saying it was great to get one last time, there's no shot he comes back next year.
I'm just being
so.
As a player, could you see Ben as like the Steelers quarterback coach in like 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see him taking a break and spending some time with his family.
Yeah, what has he got? Like 3 kids?
He's got a few kids. He's obviously played in the league for 17 years. He's obviously missed a lot of family time. So I think he takes a break. I don't know if we see him back. I would not see him back in a commentating capacity. I would see him more in a coaching capacity.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more of a behind the scenes. Even in his press conferences, Ben isn't necessarily somebody that lights the world on fire. He's not like a super big talker. Like, he answers his questions. He doesn't say anything crazy. You know what I'm saying?
He's not a Michael Irvin or like a.
He's not
Deion
loud.
Sanders.
He's not loud. Ben is a very quiet guy, which is what you want. Well, maybe I don't. I like Joe Burrow the way he is, but but no, I think
he's not a Troy Aikman.
I think he's tired. I think Ben's tired. You know what I mean? And after
he's got a lot of Budweisers to drink.
He's got a lot of Budweisers to drink. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we got Steelers on the road versus the Ravens. Lamar Jackson is back this week, correct?
I would say most signs indicate to that with the Ravens. Literally, this is like a last stitch for them. They need a lot of help to get in, but they can't get in unless they win. So I think Lamar's probably going to end up playing.
Yeah, a lot of things on the line this week. I think is the Steelers need more help than the Ravens do to get in the playoffs, correct?
The Ravens need more help than the Steelers, actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So they both need to win.
Wait a second. Help. Yes, that's accurate. I think the Steelers are second in the AFC North right now.
Okay. Yeah. So the Steelers need a little help. Ravens need a lot of help. Either way, both teams needs to win. I'm picking my Steelers. I'm putting my faith in Ben to go out there and pull one out in his last game ever. So I know Todd went with the Ravens. Who do you got, Corey?
Yeah, I got to go with the Ravens again on this one. I feel like Ben might have spent it all last week, so that's my call there.
All right. We need Katie's opinion on this one. We've got the Green Bay Packers on the road in Detroit.
No Green Bay Packer is resting this week, according to Matt LaFleur. We're full go. It's another game. We're going and
I really like that, by the way.
Oh, do you? Okay. Well, give me some insight on that. Why is that?
I think sometimes the second bye week or that game before the playoffs, I think it costs a lot of teams their rhythm. Going in, and I think even if they only play the first half and get a big lead and then pull everybody out, I think it's still good to get the snaps in and get the reps, and keep the chemistry. That being said, there's no way the Lions beat the Packers this week if Aaron Rodgers is on the field. So I got the Packers in this one.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for the Pack, unless something crazy happens and none of the starters play. It's got to be the Packers. They're the best team in the NFL right now, record wise. It's hard to bet against them. It'd be a stupid one.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Coming up next, we've got the Colts on the road in Jacksonville.
So, this is a huge linchpin game, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of other teams' fates rest in the hands of this game. The Raiders, the Chargers, the Steelers, the Ravens, all of these teams depend on the Jaguars to beat the Colts.
Pulling one out.
And it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me for that to happen. But nonetheless, this is what Bruce was alluding to earlier in the chat. He said Raiders Chargers tie ? And so what he's saying is, if by some grace of God the Jaguars beat the Colts, if that happens, Bruce is commenting in the chat now, let's go Jags. If that happens, the Raiders and Chargers can both go to the playoffs if they tie. So these teams could literally kneel the ball 15 times each, 15 different possessions, call it a game.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, we're going to be just healthy. No one's going to get hurt in this final game. We're just going to consider this a bye, and we're both going to go to the playoffs. They could do that.
That's not going to happen.
I think it would be just – and so Ian Rappaport, one of the biggest, journalists in the NFL right now, maybe ever, he basically said that the feeling out of both camps right now is, how do I know that they would like follow suit? How do I know that they won't just be like, yeah, we're gonna knee, and then at the end they're gonna fake a knee and just bomb it down the field and knock us out of the playoffs because we're a division rival. We've seen each other twice now. We know, what the other scheme is for the other person.
That would be really dirty.
Oh, it would be awesome television. Would it not? Would it not?
It would definitely make some headlines.
And just think about this though, like you're midway through the third quarter and you're hearing you're seeing on Twitter, you're seeing on Facebook, you're seeing they keep kneeling. How many people are going to tune into that game? How many people are going to just watch the craziness unfold?
I would watch it.
And I would just watch it just to hear as to what
I just want to see what the announcers would do.
Exactly. That's what I want to hear. I want to see how they would commentate this game and what they would talk about. Bruce with a few comments in here. Let's go. Someone would be shot, maybe stabbed. Over his comments. And I think he's alluding to Roger Goodell would hire a hitman.
He might.
And take out Brandon Staley.
He very well could. But
I'm gonna reach into my new mini fridge here, courtesy of Mrs.
Is it a little bit more full this time?
Yeah, let me show you what I got going on. I added a little 15-pack. You see?
Oh, there you go. It's getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Over time, Robert. I just
slowly but surely.
Yeah, I just fired this bad boy up on Tuesday night, and we're getting some beers in here again. We got Shorts Brewery Locals Light. 3 carbs per beer. It's one of my first craft brewery companies, and I consider Shorts a craft brew. They're largely distributed through Ohio and Michigan, but one of the first ones with a low carb beer, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, here's a Corey crack. There you go.
It's quality. But yeah, Todd's got the Colts. I'm also going with the Colts. There's no way on this planet that the Jags beat the Colts.
I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm going with the Colts as well. I hope I'm wrong as an agent of chaos, someone that cheers for insanity.
Right.
I hope. And I would really, really like to play the Steelers in round 1 of the playoffs. So.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. If I'm you, I'd like to play them too.
Well, it's not just because of the Steelers. It's like, all right, pick between the Colts, Patriots, Raiders, Steelers. Which one do you want?
Yeah, you want the Steelers.
I want the Steelers.
Steelers or the Raiders.
Well, and because of the way we played against them the last 2 times.
Yeah.
So, Bruce is taking the Jags.
Jags all day, baby.
What about the rest of you, chat? Who are you taking in these games? I want to hear your guys' picks throughout this tonight.
Bruce, if the Jags win, I will stop in your stream and drop you a 10,000 star bomb, sir.
Oh, wow.
For those of you that know Facebook money, that's $100.
You got it here. It's on record now.
You heard it here first, chat.
On Line to Gain, where magic happens. Let's go Jags, Bruce. Let's go Jags.
Next game on the board, we've got the Chicago Bears headed over to Minnesota.
Where's Rob? Can somebody send a fucking carrier pigeon and get Rob?
Tag Rob in here.
We need Rob.
I got him. I'll tag him real quick.
Rob, we're talking Bears. We need you. So I believe Justin Fields is starting this week. I think he got the nod. I think he's back. I think he's healthy. So I think it's going to be Bears. And man, did you catch Mike Zimmer's press conference after the game last week? There it is. There we go.
Play that one.
So what? Mine are called Corey Crack. Mine are called Corey Cracks. What are we gonna call yours? Bobby Beer. A Bobby.
I'll get back to you. Chat. If you have any ideas, let me know. I want to think of something sexy.
So let me. I need to pull this up because at least I don't want to speak too out of turn as to what Zimmer said. Actually, I don't remember who the quarterback was, so that's what I'm looking up. They asked him
Bobby Bops. That's what Bruce called it.
What do you call it? A Bobby Bop?
Bobby Bop. B-O-P.
Bop. Bobby Bop. I like it. All right. Shit.
We could just call it a Bob Pop.
Bob Pop. There we go. Oh, yeah. So they said, hey, Mike, do you want to see any more of Kellen Mond, their backup quarterback? And Mike Zimmer said, no. See him every day. This is the rookie that they just drafted last year, and they asked him if he wanted to see any more of him. He said, no. I see him every day. Like, at this point, is Zimmer just a dead man walking? Does he not fucking care at all? He's like, I need to get the fuck out of Minneapolis. I spent a decade in Cincinnati. I spent a decade in Minneapolis. I'm at the tail end of my career. Can somebody just send me to fucking Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Miami? Can you send me somewhere fucking warm, please? That is Mike Zimmer. He's tired. He's cold. And he's just ready for something better. That's what's happening with Mike Zimmer right now.
I would agree. This is a tough game, man.
It is a tough game because neither team really has anything to play for.
At this point, whatever Todd goes with these close ones, I'm just going the opposite, and I'm not even going to think about it. Todd went with the Vikings. I'm taking the Bears.
You know what? I think I'm going to ride with you on this one. Rob, if you jumped into the video, you need to let us know. Everybody else that's watching right now, I need you to jump in and say hello. I need you to let us know if you're watching right now. Oh, Bobby break 'em open. Oh, my God. That's amazing. That's amazing. Anyway,
we should get T-shirts.
That's Bobby break 'em open. Bruce is going with the Vikings on this one. I'm riding with you, Bob. I got to go with the Bears. I think the Bears are just they're still.
I think Justin Fields has something to prove this week.
Justin Fields has something to prove. It's probably Matt Nagy's last game as a Bears head coach. Win one for the Gipper. We're going with the Bears. I think we're going with the Bears.
Yeah, absolutely. Dub Bears all day.
Sure. Rex Grossman.
Jay Cutler.
Yes. Are we just naming obscure Bears quarterbacks at this point? Here's one for you. Craig Krenzel.
Oh, that's a good one. Former OSU quarterback.
That's right. And now current neurosurgeon, Craig Krenzel.
Are you fucking God. So smart.
Katie's taking the Vikings. She's saying Minnesota Vikings because, the asterisk Lizzo. Cordell Stewart.
New man on the Minnesota Vikings.
Rob, get out. Cordell Stewart is not a Bears quarterback. When you think of Cordell Stewart, who do you think of?
Steelers.
Thank you.
100%.
I literally watched a Pro Bowl competition today, like the first 60 seconds, and it was Cordell Stewart. It was Tom Brady when he was 14 years old, and Cordell Stewart. And Cordell Stewart could throw the fuck out of the football.
He had an arm, that's for sure.
No, he had a cannon.
When I think of Cordell Stewart, then I always transition.
Fair
As
enough,
a Steelers fan, I transition. I think of Tommy Maddox as well.
Rob. Okay, Mitch Trubisky, who, by the way, so we already talked Browns, and we're talking Bears now. There are Browns fans. Browns Twitter is hiving. They're hiving right now for Mitch Trubisky.
Why?
Hey, Mitch Trubisky took Matt Nagy's offense to the playoff twice. I'm just saying.
That's true. I don't think Mitch Trubisky's a bad quarterback. I just think there's better options.
Oh, Rob's getting silly with these Bears quarterbacks right now. I'm so
John
glad.
Harbaugh, Eric Kramer.
Eric Kramer. Eric in all caps. Eric Kramer. He's just screaming. Trubisky is good if he has an O-line. Yeah, and the Bears just don't.
And Rob, to your point, I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that we write off as not great, but how many, like the ones that aren't, like there's a lot of people that could be good or better than average if they had a solid O line. There's a lot of quarterbacks that get thrown to the wolves and then they can't do anything with their careers because they're already too hurt.
Caroline, thanks for liking the video. Caroline.
Yeah, if you guys haven't liked the video, please like it. We got 8 people in here, and I don't think we have 8 likes yet, so make sure you smash that like button for us.
Smash it.
Next game on the board, Bruce, Rob, thanks for liking the video again. Titans on the road in Houston.
So another huge game, right? The Chiefs need some help here. The Bengals could use a Titans loss here. Is Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks. Is Brandon Cooks, the old Ram, is he going to do a solid for his old quarterback and offensive coach, Zach Taylor, and try and beat the Tennessee Titans? I have a hard time seeing it, especially because the King is back. Derrick Henry, man. The King, all hail. The King is back. Derrick Henry is back for the Titans. They reinstated him a couple days, or today. Was it today? I think he came back to practice.
Yeah. He's going to get some reps in. I don't think he's going to get a lot of work. But I mean, with Derrick Henry,
he needs it a lot. I think it's kind of like a let's get his feet wet kind of thing.
Right. Just let's get him warm and juiced up for the playoffs. There's no way on this planet I'm taking the Texans over the Titans with Derrick Henry.
It'd just give Todd the championship at this point if you're going to take the Texans.
That's not one I'm willing to slide over on.
No.
Next game, we have the New Orleans Saints on the road in Hotlanta.
Another one that's kind of a toss-up because the Saints actually I think they have a chance to get in the playoffs still, if I'm not mistaken. The
Falcons have not been playing well.
The Falcons have not been playing well. The Falcons, though, actually, and we'll release these after the regular season. If you guys recall, at the beginning of Line to Gain, I went through the regular season. I picked all the records. About midway through the season, I released which ones am I really close on, which ones am I really far on. So I went through earlier this week and I kind of notched them in there a little bit and brought them back up to speed. There's still some that I'm actually like one game away from being exactly right on, and there's some that I have just completely missed the mark. I was far too harsh on Atlanta. I didn't see them getting to almost 500. I was really I was considering them like a top 3-4 pick. And they haven't landed.
So what did you have them at? Like
I think I had them at like 4-13 or something like that. So
going in, that's not a bad prediction. They weren't exactly slated to have a great season.
Right. So I think, and you know what? They've done it all without who's the one rookie that you thought you'd be hearing more about this season?
Kyle Pitts.
We haven't heard anything about Kyle Pitts.
He's had a couple good games. He's had a couple games over 150 receiving yards, but nothing. For the rest, nothing to write home about.
But you know what? I'm not ready to close the door on him.
No, he's still a freak. He's flashed that talent.
He is.
I think we're seeing the tail end of Matty Ice and what he has to offer in the NFL.
I think so, but at the end of the day, I still think Matt Ryan is probably a top 15, top half quarterback in this league. But as I've alluded to in earlier shows, that doesn't mean a whole lot because, in my opinion, at least, once you get past like 7, it really drops off. In my opinion, the quarterback talent in the NFL across the board has never.
I would say once you get past 10, you're just kind of expendable.
Well, yeah, and what I mean is there's never been more parity at the quarterback position than ever in the NFL. Like this is like the top of the top versus the bottom of the barrel. There's never been a larger disparity, and I don't see that changing a whole lot. It's just was that a burp? That was impressive if that was a burp because that was low and driven. If you're a South Park fan, that was the brown note.
I thought I covered that up. I apologize.
That was a brown
mic,
note.
But I tried to cover it up.
If you're a South Park fan. So viewers, apologize if you just shit yourself. It's Bobby's fault. But that was amazing. Anyway.
My apologies.
So Falcons Saints, Saints need some help, but I think I'm going to go with the Saints in this one. I think they're getting a little bit healthier at this point too, specifically at the running back position. So I'm going to go with the Saints.
Yeah, Todd took the Falcons. I'm more than okay with taking the Saints in this one.
Shout out Cody Bauer, number 22, halfback, the halfback, liking the stream.
All right, let's take a quick inventory here. Let's see. I've gone different.
Yeah, how many have I gone different on?
Two,
I think I'm getting a little saucy over here, and I'm getting silly,
five.
Crazy.
I've gone different on 5.
Out of what, like
games?
7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5. So half the games I've gone astray, and I'm always going against Todd.
So here's the thing, Bobby. You need to pick different on more than just 7.
Yes. So there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games left. So I've got 3 more that I can get saucy with. And I think there's a couple of games on here that I feel comfortable going the other way. So
good deal.
Next game we've got on the board, we've got the Seahawks on the road versus the Arizona Cardinals.
So just real quick note about the Seahawks and a former Bengal, Carlos Dunlap is actually having a really, really good season. He's on the verge of double-digit sacks for the year. As a guy that is a rotational player, it's awesome to see Dunlap getting there. He's right around 96 sacks, I think, getting really close to 100 sacks on his career. Would be really, really cool to see Dunlap. And another quick note, when Trey Hendrickson broke his single-season sack record, Carlos Dunlap obviously had the single-season sack record for the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson broke that this year in his first year with the Bengals. Dunlap
what a pickup this offseason, by the way. For the
Bengals.
I
mean, absolutely home run signing. Trey Hendrickson and Cheeto Awuzie, I mean, absolutely home run signings. Cheeto is the 3rd best rated corner in Pro Football Focus. The 3rd best in the league. Which is crazy. Anyway, Dunlap posted something on Instagram saying, shout out Trey, hey, when I offered to sell you my house in Cincy, I didn't mean for you to go and break my sack record. Take some time before you break the rest of my records and stuff like that. So it was cool to see. And he threw, I can't wait to see you keep going. So Dunlap obviously still has a ton of love for the Bengals. I think.
Oh yeah, he played there for what, 7, 8 years?
I think it was on the verge of a decade, and I think at the end of the day, when Dunlap hangs it up, he'll be a Bengal.
Retire a Bengal.
I think he'll end up being a Ring of Honor type player. One of the best defensive ends we've ever had. So
yeah, it's not fun going against him twice a year.
So in this one, Seahawks Cardinals. I mean, are the Cardinals playing? Is everybody for the Cardinals playing? Is this something that Bruce is taking the cards on this one? He's not even waiting for our picks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel comfortable picking against the Cardinals when it's the Seahawks. The Seahawks have been absolute garbage this year. Russell Wilson just can't seem to figure it out. I don't know what's going on with him this year, but he just hasn't been able to get it done.
Yeah, I don't know if he's checked out of Seattle.
Oh, your wifey came in and said Seahawks.
Seahawks. She just loves Seattle. She's a big grunge music fan. We went on a trip there with my grandparents, and we had an awesome time. I think if we could transplant our entire family to northern Washington, she would probably do that. So that might be a little bit there. And she likes to cause a riff. That's what she's doing. She's a feather ruffler in the best way possible.
A feather ruffler.
In the best way possible. I can't bet against the Cardinals. I gotta go with the Cardinals. This isn't the one you divert from.
No, not at all. So we're all three on board there.
Yeah.
Next game, we've got the Jets on the road versus Josh Allen and the Bills.
So another one where it's hard for me to take the upset in this one because the Bills have a lot to play for. They have the potential of getting, winning the division or not, basically, getting a home playoff game or not. And so I got to go with the superior team playing for something. I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah, no, that's not a hard one. Next one, I don't think it's too terribly difficult either. We've got the Panthers on the road versus the Buccaneers.
You know what? I would normally say this isn't a difficult one, but the Buccaneers have a cancer just swirling around them. And before we get into the picks, have you seen the latest on the Antonio Brown saga?
I read a lot about it today. So Antonio Brown came out with text messages between himself and Bruce Arians.
Not only that, but himself and a trainer as well.
Yeah, they looked very, very manufactured, at least from the way that I looked at it. I saw a meme. I have my work phone here, and it was like me and text messages between Bruce Arians, and it was like Antonio Brown. And I just started laughing. I mean, I don't know who to believe in this case. There's a lot of Bruce Arians doesn't strike me as a coach that would ask you to play hurt if you don't think you can go. Antonio Brown's not the type of guy that I think is not going to give you 100% when he's out on the field. I think he has too much. I don't want to say pride. I don't think that's the right word. I think he's just a competitor, and as a competitor, you're not going to go out there and half-ass it when you're on the field. He's a stats guy. He wants to get the stats. He wants to get the touchdowns, the catches, the yards. So, I mean, especially with what he had on the line, he only needed 8 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown, and then that would have garnered him $1 million.
Yeah, $999,000. Yeah.
So I don't think that he's going to take snaps off unless he's hurt. So
I don't think he cares about money, though. I don't think Antonio Brown needs money. Like, he's not like –
I mean, I guess, from my perspective, I would side with Antonio because $1 million to me is a lot of money, but maybe to him it's not, and he took it a different way, and he's just blown it out of proportion. Either way, he's played his last snap in the NFL. Nobody's going to pick him up. He's too much of a cancer.
So, I don't think I think his NFL career is probably done. I think this was his last chance. We thought it was his last chance with the Patriots when Tom tried to get him on, and he got cut from there. And then Tom brought him into Tampa, and then, shit hit the fan there. Look, where there's smoke, there's fire. If trouble follows an individual, more than likely it's on the individual, right? And Katie's dropping in the chat here, Mrs. James saying that a model said she was snuck into his hotel room the night before. She just sent me a little video on Instagram of a model in the hotel bathroom saying that she was there. But I mean, there's not a ton of evidence. Here's
the thing, Antonio Brown has done a really bad job of not giving himself the benefit of the doubt with his actions.
Yeah.
Time and time again, whether it was his exit from Pittsburgh, his exit from Oakland, his exit from New England, and now his exit with the Buccaneers. I don't believe a single word that comes out of his mouth.
No, it's hard to.
You can't.
It's like an addict, right? When you deal with an addict, it's hard to like listen and trust anything that they're saying. And another thing, He's talking about his ankle. He's saying that his ankle is hurting him. And then he's running off the field, jumping up and down. Bro, come on. Seriously? You want, like, yes, I understand there's a difference between jogging and running out on a football field and making cuts. I understand that there's a difference between those things. But if your ankle is really hurting you that bad, if you're playing in a game that could potentially affect the seeding of the team, if you're telling a coach, if a trainer, by the way, trainers look at players before the games, notify their status to the coaching staff and say, yep, he's a go, or no, he's out, or he should be limited, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. If they're saying he's a go, then he's good. He can go. He can play. He decided not to. He decided not to play. He wasn't getting the ball, and he was pissed off about it. That's what's happening.
Yep. So now he's trying to turn it on Bruce, and
he's trying to turn it on the organization.
I would say that's more accurate than the story that he's portraying. But who knows? I mean, the text messages look completely manufactured, as I said before.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the picture of him with ice on his ankle, maybe his ankle was sore and he had an ice pack.
No, I don't discredit that his ankle maybe has some issues. But at the end of did you see what he tweeted or texted to the trainer? The trainer, he said something like, "Hey man, like I'm not, we're not going to be working together anymore. I need my balance due, or I need my refund on that $100K I paid you. I need my half back, basically." And the trainer was like, "Yep, totally understand. Sorry, we're not going to be working together. I wish you the best. Think you're a great guy. Let me know where I can get you, how I can get you that money back." And then Antonio Brown screenshots that, puts it on Instagram, tags Tom Brady and that trainer, because he was referred to that trainer by Tom Brady, and says, "How do you work with this kind of guy? Like, this is ridiculous." It's like the trainer is doing everything he should be doing. Like, yep, totally understand. Let me know how I can repay you, and we'll be good from there, sir. Like, what the fuck else do you want, man? What do you want? I
think we have spoken our last words about Antonio Brown.
Probably not, but I hope so. Taking the Bucks anyway.
I'm done talking about him. I'm taking the Bucks. Todd also has taken the Bucks. We're all three on the same page there. All right. Next game.
Hold on, Bob. How many games do we have left?
We have 3 games left.
How many have I deferred from Todd on?
1, 2, 3.
Okay. I need one more, I think.
All right. Next game. We got the Pats on the road in Miami.
Miami eliminated from the playoffs, by the way.
Nothing to play for.
Nothing to play for. Patriots with a lot to play for. Man.
I've deferred on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm going with the Patriots on this one. It's hard for me to bet against them. I know that the Dolphins and Patriots historically is a very good game, very good matchup. A lot of upsets that favor the Dolphins in this matchup. But being a game that affects potentially the division and a lot of other things, I got to go with the Patriots here.
Taking the Dolphins.
Oh, I like it. A good one to default on there, Bob.
That officially gives me 6 that I have deferred from the.
You got to go 100% on your deferrals.
Yes, I do.
Actually, you know what? You don't. You just have to beat me. You don't have to take a chance. You just have to beat me.
I know. Then I've deferred from you 1, 2. Only on 2. That makes 3. And I am 5 games behind you, so I still have to defer on these last 2 regardless.
All right, I will pick before you on these last 2, okay?
Okay. 49ers on the road versus the Rams, the Sunday night game.
Yeah, probably the game of the year, right? Because this is essentially
going to be a great game.
It's going to be fantastic. And Trey Lance looked really, really good last week. Bodes well for my dynasty team. I took him on a flyer in the draft, my dynasty draft. I have him going into next year. My quarterback's currently going into next season on my dynasty team. Carson Wentz, Trey Lance, and Tua Tagovailoa. Those are my quarterbacks right now. I feel okay about my two young prospects. Carson Wentz is just not a long-term solution for my dynasty team. He's just not.
No, not in the least.
So I feel really good about Trey Lance. The Rams are an interesting dilemma here.
How so?
Because I feel like Matt Stafford has underperformed in big games. I feel like there's been some like in games that are at 1 o'clock, he does really well. In games that are at a normal slotted time on the West Coast, he does really well. But games that are for instance, last week against the Ravens, he looked like dog shit though. This again was a 1 o'clock game, so maybe I'm putting my foot in my mouth there, but I have a hard time saying that Matt Stafford is able to rise up and meet the challenge yet until he's able to win a playoff game. That said, this isn't the one that I'm going to defer from Todd on. I'm taking the Rams.
I will be deferring.
Yes, you will. Yeah.
I know. I think Trey Lance is definitely the future in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think the Niners know that too.
And I think he's got a lot of talent. He's got a great rapport with Deebo Samuel, who's one of the biggest freaks of nature in the NFL, maybe outside of DK Metcalf.
I mean, he's a running back that can run routes,
and just
right?
sheer physical form. Yeah. You've got Devonta Adams and Cooper Kupp, who are the two best receivers in the NFL right now. Outside of and Jamar Chase, I put Jamar Chase along with them. But just as far as sheer physical form, that looks like they were built by Michelangelo. Like Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf are just something different.
Last game of the regular season
from the great city of San Diego, a.k.a. L.A., the Chargers, versus the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep. Huge game. So this is
Bruce. Who you got?
Yeah, Bruce. Who you got in this one, buddy? So Bruce is 100,000,000% taking the Raiders. He said earlier in the chat, Raiders win it all. I don't care. Which would be crazy through the season that they've had. Derek Carr is actually a top 5 quarterback. Oh, excuse me. This shorts is giving me the burpees. But Derek Carr statistically is a top 5 quarterback this year. Which is crazy, considering the offseason, the regular season, and all the issues that they've had off the field. Talking about the Vegas Raiders. I don't like the way the Chargers have been playing at all. So I'm going to put you in a hard spot here, Bobby, because I have to go against Todd in this one. It's not going to allow you to go against Todd, but it's going to allow you to go against me. I'm going to take the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to win this game. I think they're going to beat the Chargers and move into the playoffs, and the Chargers are going to go home. So the MVP or the rookie of the year, the offensive rookie of the year last year is going to be sent home early, and they're not going to be in the playoffs.
Okay. So I want to preface what you just said with a statement.
I already have the number of games to go against Todd and tie Todd. Granted, I get every pick right.
And I am 5 games back from you. Is that correct?
I think so.
One,
that sounds
2,
right. Because I'm 2 back on Todd.
3, 4.
Me going with Todd in this game and going against you, if all the games go my way,
you'll win.
No, I will tie Todd.
Oh, and I'll be in the cellar.
And you will be in the cellar. That's if I go.
What is it? How many games? 1, 2, 15 games? 16.
So, yeah, what if Bruce is right and they tie?
If I go 16-0 this week, I will not lose.
Never been done in Line to Gain history has someone gone 16-0. So, I think we've had a 14-2 or a 13-3 or something.
We've been close.
There's been some really good picks.
I can actually recap that real quick. I got it all right in front of me.
I'm curious what the best record was.
Let's see what the best week was. They're all in my notebook here.
So, chat, while we're waiting on this, I want to know what your game of the week is. I want to know what you're most looking forward to in this 2-game Saturday, 14 games on Sunday, all piling it in on Sunday. Sunday is going to be insane when it comes to football. What are you looking forward to the most? What are you looking forward to in the postseason?
The current leader right now is you in week 5 at 14-2. I don't know if there was anything better than that.
Again, I want to give a shout out to Cincy Shop, the Cincy Shop, at the Cincy Shop on Twitter for my Joe Burrow. Let me move my mic here. Joe Burrow, King of the North, sitting on the Iron Throne.
So Todd had 13-3 in week 5 and week 17, but you have the best single week record at 14-2.
Naturally. Makes sense.
That was also done in week 5. You and Todd both had great weeks that week.
Wow.
But yeah, so as it stands, I am 7 games back from Todd. I am 5 games back from Corey. If I go 16-0 this week, I will tie Todd, and that will put Corey in the cellar.
What's your biggest long shot?
This week?
Yeah. Time for a Corey crack.
Oh. I would say
It's not like you took the Texans.
I honestly I think it's the Dolphins over the Patriots.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a tough one because the Patriots have something to play for.
Yeah. Because I mean the Giants versus the Washington football team,
That's not that crazy.
That's not a crazy long shot.
I mean, none of them are that bad though, Bob. Like
they're not.
Like if the Dolphins won, I'd be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see. One thing I did want to talk about that I did not mention when we were talking Steelers Ravens was that article I sent you today.
Yeah.
Chat, for those of you that don't follow the Steelers,
go ahead and drop it in the chat if you can, Bob.
I'll see if I can. Let me pull it up.
Just go to our messages.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I am going to. Nope. Let's see if I can share it.
Hey, shout out to David Mast for liking the stream.
David Mast, what is going on, sir?
I think he's winning our college bowl game pick'em. I think he's solidified. I think he's won. Yeah, so I think I owe Dave some money after the national championship game. Shout out to David.
I will share this article to the page. It's not letting me share it from Messenger. But essentially, it's
thanks a lot, Zuckerberg.
Right. It was an article that came out by CBS Sports that's essentially, like a wrapping up Big Ben's career article. And it was an all Big Ben era team. This is all Steelers that he's played with. And the offense was good, but the defense really took the cake.
Ridiculous.
I'll start with the offense. Obviously, he's a quarterback. Depth charts on the running back. You have Jerome Bettis, Le'Veon Bell, and then third and fourth string were Willie Parker and Najee Harris.
Willie Parker was underrated.
Willie Parker was so fast.
He was so fast and hit the hole so hard. Really, really, really good running back.
He had that 75-yard touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Really good running back.
Yeah, absolutely. Fullback was Roosevelt Nix. Not a very big name player, but solid. Roosevelt Nix.
I know. I heard you.
And the wide receiver slots, they had 2 slots in the depth chart. They had Hines Ward, Mike Wallace, and then Juju. And then in the second row, they had AB, Santonio, and Deontay Johnson.
See, I'd take AB and Santonio as my 1-2.
I think with just the legend that Hines Ward is, I think you have to put him number 1.
Yeah.
Just for what he brought from just a personality perspective to the Steelers.
And statistically speaking, he's way. I mean, his longevity with the Steelers is way longer.
Yeah.
Santonio Holmes obviously won the Super Bowl for the Steelers.
One of the most clutch catches in NFL history.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, absolutely.
If anybody was watching that game against the Cardinals, you'll never forget it.
Yeah. No.
Ben dropped an absolute dime, and somehow he got 2 feet in, and nobody knows how to this day.
Yeah.
Tight end, you got Heath Miller. Heath. Fucking love that guy. Left tackle,
Bengal killer.
Villanueva.
Which I was surprised by Villanueva. He's like a tail end guy for Ben. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not really, man. He was with Ben for like 7 or 8 seasons.
Okay.
He was there for a while.
So he just must have found his way back, I guess. Yeah.
Left guard, Alan Faneca, Hall of Famer. Just absolute class. Center, Marquise Pouncey, no question. Best center that Ben's had in his career.
Yeah.
Right guard, David DeCastro. So he's been solid. And then right tackle, Max Starks. I think he was the one that we yelled at the most. He had a lot of holding calls against him. But, yeah. Now to the best part, the defense. This is going to blow your mind. This defense, like, in their, like, primes, this defense would never get scored on. Like, they're so good. You have, at the left defensive end, you have Cam Hayward, who is still currently a Steeler. Nose tackle, you have Casey Hampton, the 300-pound, just brick shithouse, Vince Wilfork.
That moved like a deer.
Yes. He just shouldn't have been able to do what he did.
For those of you just jumping into the stream, Bobby is going through the all-time Ben Roethlisberger
Big Ben
Steelers.
era Steelers team.
Big Ben era Steelers.
Everybody that he's played with throughout his career.
Yeah.
The defense, yeah. Defensive end, Cam Hayward, nose tackle, Casey Hampton. So the Steelers play a 3-4. So obviously 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers.
Yeah.
And then on the right side you got Brett Kiesel.
Yeah.
That dude was just an absolute unit.
Yeah. I mean,
Brett the Diesel Kiesel.
I think in today's NFL, Brett Kiesel probably plays like a 5 technique. He's a tackle, I think, in like a 3-4 defense or a 4-3 defense. He's an interior lineman, but nonetheless, I mean, a force.
This linebacking core is disgusting.
It's stupid. I looked at it and I got pissed off.
T.J. Watt, James Ferrier, Larry Foote, and James Harrison.
That's
what? Disgusting.
Ferrier is probably my favorite on that list.
You know what? I was gonna say Larry Foote.
Larry Foote. I mean, yeah.
I love Larry Foote. Larry Foote was so consistent.
Yeah.
James Harrison, obviously.
Now Ben played with Larry at the tail end of his career, though. Am I correct in that?
No, Larry Foote was at the beginning.
That's what I meant. At the tail end of Larry Foote's career.
Oh, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larry Foote was a beast. In the back or in the second string for the linebackers, they had Lamar Woodley, who was really good.
Yeah, he's
Shazier, who obviously got hurt too soon. He'd probably still be playing if he hadn't.
Yeah, he would still be playing. I have trouble with.
I have trouble with him on this list. That
I do
play
too.
Very long.
I do too. Yeah.
I think he's just on there because of what happened. Not to downplay it, but I mean, don't get me wrong. He was very good when he was playing, but I just don't think there was enough time. I think there was better options.
Yeah.
Then you got Lawrence Timmons and Vince Williams. Those are viable second strings, and Joey Porter. I don't think there's another Steeler that a lot of people hated more than Joey Porter. Dude just ran his mouth.
I think there's no way that Bengals fans hated more than Joey Porter. I think Joey Porter is Satan in terms of. I mean, not just for on the field stuff. I'm talking 2015 game like that.
Yeah, he for sure. And then you have
the fact that you're just brushing over that just gives me all the validation I need.
Yeah, he was an asshole, man. He was an asshole for sure. He's one of those guys that you loved having on your team and everybody else hated. Then you got Joe Hayden, Ike Taylor, Troy Polamalu, and Mika Fitzpatrick in the secondary. I mean, that's just gross.
Oh, that's stupid. I really don't understand though that like Joe Hayden, again, tail end of his career, he's on that list.
I think Ryan Clark deserves to be on that more than Joe Hayden.
I agree. I would say Ryan Clark over Joe Hayden as well. I don't think Joe Hayden has been like. He hasn't been what he was at the Browns. Like, listen, he didn't get re-signed by the Browns. Yeah, he's still good, but is he a top 10 corner right now? No.
No, I think Ryan Clark put more time in and had more of an impact than Joe Hayden.
So Elizabeth and Bruce are jumping in this chat right now. Elizabeth say, I vote for whoever Bruce votes for. And Bruce, yeah, well, we want the Jags because Bobby's going to drop 10K stars. And Elizabeth, let's go Jags. Elizabeth, thank you for liking the video. I appreciate you.
But yeah, so I mean, I saw that article today when I was at work, and I had to share it with Todd and Corey, and I was just like, the offense is good, but that defense just, oh man, could you imagine? Like,
No, and I was telling you, I was like, I think I can list maybe 2 Bengals that would replace players on that list.
who would those Bengals be?
So I think Geno could get on there.
Okay.
Geno Atkins could get in there. I guess would you put him as a nose tackle because you wouldn't put him as defensive ends. I think.
Yeah, he would have to be in the middle of that line.
So I think you could take Geno in there.
I wouldn't replace Hampton with Geno Atkins.
You wouldn't take Geno. You wouldn't take Geno over Casey Hampton.
No,
Really?
not in a
Okay.
million years.
A million years, Robert. Come on.
Maybe 1,000,001.
Come on.
No, I have a
No,
Casey
Casey
Hampton
Hampton's
jersey.
good, but at the
I
same
love
time,
Casey
Geno
Hampton.
Atkins is like a 6-time Pro Bowler. Like he's like a
No, I'm not saying that Geno Atkins
an
is a slouch by any
undoubted
means.
Hall of Famer. Like Geno Atkins will be in the Hall of Fame. Like it's not even a question.
No, I'm just saying, if I had my choice, I'm picking Casey
Yeah, but you're
Hampton
homer
because
picking.
I'm a homer picker.
Yeah, you're homer picking.
But if I'm looking, I'd be curious to compare their stats.
That
and
would be
see-
really interesting. As a defensive tackle, like a 3-technique tackle versus a nose tackle, a 1-technique. I'm curious at
Let's
what
take you look up
Geno
Gino, and I'll look up Casey Hampton
deal. This is awesome.
because now you've just piqued my curiosity.
No, it's the perfect thing to do right now. It's exactly this. The stars have aligned, and then I'm really going to struggle to get the right. But I think
All right, so
Casey has a longer career though.
Okay, so let's see. That is so Casey Hampton played from 2001 to 2012. He had 5 Pro Bowl selections. Let's get.
Okay,
He only had 9 sacks in his career.
he played from when to when? I'm sorry, how many years?
2001 to 2012, so it's a 13-year career.
Okay.
He only had 9 sacks. He had. Let's see. Total.
He had
tackles.
nine sacks ever.
Correct.
Wow.
He had 398 total tackles. And the one thing I will say about Casey Hampton is Casey Hampton wasn't so much of a. He just required a lot of
From the
people to
offensive
protect him.
lineman. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like his stats aren't going to blow you.
How many
away.
tackles for loss?
Tackles for loss. He had 39.
Okay. You're going to take Geno. I'll tell you why. So how many Pro Bowls did Casey go to?
5.
Geno, how many all-pro teams?
0.
Okay. Geno Atkins is an 8-time Pro Bowler, 2 times All-Pro. He had 75 sacks. He had 100 tackles for loss in 2 less seasons.
Wow. Yeah, I mean the stats don't lie.
So he was a freak on a team that didn't achieve what they should have. I mean, he was on the Bengals from 2010 to 2020. 2020, he started 0 games. He played in 8 of them. The other 10 seasons, every single game he played in, except for in 2013 when he got hurt, he started 9, played 9 games, still finished that season with 6 sacks.
I know all about Gino. We saw him twice a year for 10 years, so I know the guy's a beast.
Yeah. 11-year career. Exactly.
All right.
Who's your other Bengal?
That makes that roster.
So yeah, that was the other thing that I was
Which
having.
not
that roster, that defense. I can think of plenty Bengals that Ben played against that should replace people on the offensive
Okay,
side
yeah,
of the ball.
that specific roster.
So that specific defense. No, the defense. The offense, I can think of plenty of people on the offense that would replace. Like, for instance, Andrew Whitworth would be your left tackle.
For sure.
Yeah,
Andrew Whitworth is
and
a
I
beast.
think Joe Mixon would probably be your running back. No. Jerome Bettis is a Hall of Famer. I redact that. I
Please
apologize.
and thank you.
Yeah, and I apologize for that statement. That was blasphemous. I think your number 2 wide receiver would be AJ Green.
That was the first name that popped in my head was AJ.
Yeah.
I even think Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah. is better than
has a spot. I think Chad was better than Mike Wallace.
That's fair.
Obviously, I think he's more talented than Deontay Johnson in his prime. I think Deontay Johnson's very talented.
So
but in his prime,
do I get to list defensive ends as defensive ends, or do I have to list them as outside linebackers because it's a 3-4 technique?
I just go for it. We'll figure it out.
I'm just all right. Yeah, I mean, okay. In terms of your safeties, I think Jesse Bates could be there over Ryan Clark. Well, Ryan Clark's the number 2, but we said he should be the 1. But
so you think he's better than Joe Hayden or Ryan Clark?
Well, so he's a safety. So Joe Hayden's a corner.
Well, the safety on the team is Troy Polamalu, so that's who you're.
You only have 1. They don't have 2 safeties listed.
Well, they got Minka as the free safety and Troy.
Okay, no, I wouldn't take Jesse Bates over Minka or over Troy Polamalu. That's not fair. I'm struggling to get the second one. So your corners are Joe Hayden and who?
Joe Hayden and Ike Taylor.
Okay, Ike Taylor stays. So Bengals corners that Ben went against would be like Pac-Man, William Jackson the third, pretty good corner. It's tough, man. It's really, really tough. I have to go back to like defensive linemen and think of like Carlos Dunlap. Is Carlos Dunlap
for sure? I think, God, it's tough, man. You got. Is he better than Cam Hayward?
Again, I think that's really, really hard to say.
Is he better than Brett Kiesel? You know, like,
yeah, it's hard
because you're not going to line Dunlap up in the middle of that line. You want him on the outside.
You want him on the edge. He's a go get the quarterback guy. He's not really a run stopper. I mean, you could even drop into pass coverage. He's got a few picks on his career as well. So, it's tough. Maybe it's just 1. Maybe, and that's what I said. When you sent me that, I was like, maybe I can pick 2 that could replace the Steelers on that. Maybe I can pick 2.
Maybe.
And I got 1.
No, I mean, and I think I think the Bengals have had enough talent to put a decent team together over the last 20 years.
But they've been an offensive team over the last 15 years. They've been offense.
Think, right, and it's just.
The Steelers historically, not even just Ben, historically, they've been elite defense, okay offense. That's been their story.
That's the MO. I think their most explosive offense when they had it.
Killer bees.
Yeah, Brown, Bell, and Roethlisberger.
Yeah. That's been it, 100%. I mean, yeah, you look at the offense.
I think
Chad Ochocinco, AJ Green.
You had Hushmanzada. You had
but I would take
Chris
Henry,
Henry, who was a good talent.
take Hines Ward over Hoosh. I would take Hines Ward over Chris Henry. I mean, would you take Tyler Eifert over Heath Miller? I think I probably would.
No,
statistically speaking, no. But if you're talking like one season, yes, I would take Tyler. Like he's athletically better than Heath Miller. Like you can't even question that.
Heath just had sure hands.
Yeah, but he's sure hands. But he was like Heath Miller is not an explosive. Like you get in the red zone. It's not like, all right, we're looking at Heath here. Heath Miller is like, all right, it's 2nd and 7. We need 6 yards.
Heath. But hey, you knew you were getting 6. If that's what
you
needed. That's what you were. And I'm not trying to.
Exactly. I'm not trying to discredit Heath Miller, and he was a Bengal killer. Like
I don't think Heath Miller's the best tight end that ever existed, but he was a great outlet for a long time for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but are you telling me that you would? All right, if you're starting a team today, you would rather have Heath Miller than Tyler Eifert in their prime? In their prime.
Well,
come on. In their prime.
I'd rather have Travis Kelce.
No, shut the fuck. Okay, so then you would rather have Tyler Eifert because Tyler Eifert's closer to Kelce than Heath Miller is. Heath Miller is like an old school tight end. 60% of the time he's blocking, right?
You know what? But I mean, we definitely needed it with all the injuries we had on the O-line.
No, and again, I'm not. I mean, Heath Miller, great career, Bengal killer. I'm not discrediting that by any means.
It's a good argument for sure.
Yeah,
I just wanted
guess
to touch
the
on it. I
only
know we've kind of gotten away.
the only fullback, just because actually, you know what? I don't think Ben played against him. I was gonna say Lorenzo Neal, but he didn't play against.
Oh yeah,
But he didn't. I don't think Ben played against
Lorenzo
him.
Neal. What a name drop.
That's a '90s reference for you kids.
Oh yeah.
For all of you youngins out there.
Yes.
No, it's man.
End of an era, man. I remember where I was standing when the Steelers drafted Ben Roethlisberger.
Do tell.
I mean, obviously it was very many moons ago, chat.
17 years to be precise.
So that would have made me a 13-year-old kid. I was in my mom's basement at Banker Drive. Corey had been there many a time.
Many a time.
Because he lived next
Tri-level
door.
home. Plays lots of Sega Genesis down there.
Do you remember the big screen TV we had down in the basement?
Yep.
Yeah. It was on that TV. I was standing in the opening. You had the laundry room behind it, and then obviously the little room in front of it.
Yep.
And it was pick number 13 in the 2004 NFL draft, and Ben Roethlisberger fell, and we took him, and I went fucking nuts. I was so happy. And then obviously the first season he goes 15-1, and the rest is history.
Everybody gives, Ben had the sexual assault claims against him early in his career.
He
and all
had
that.
that. He had the motorcycle accident.
So but my biggest thing about Ben, and this sticks with me to this day. So you remember at Fairfield when we, so you got, if you made honor roll, you got free Miami Redhawks tickets. Remember that?
Yep. Never did it, but I remember it.
So I remember, me and Harrison were really good buddies back in the day.
Sackstetter?
Yeah, me and Sackstetter
Nice.
were really good buddies. One of my best friends of all time is Harrison.
He's got a voice of an angel.
Indeed. And so one year I got football tickets or basketball tickets, and he got football tickets, or one way or the other. And we got two of them. And so we were like, all right, let's take each other, let's go. Sure. And we went to one of the Redhawks football games, and it might have been homecoming or something like that, or one thing or the other. Maybe Ben was in town to play the Bengals or something like that. And they're like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Welcome from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami University alumnus, Ben Roethlisberger. And all he took 2 steps out on the field, waved, and then turned around and left. I was like, for real? That's it? We knew he was going to be there that night. We're like, all right, cool. A pro quarterback's going to be there. Why the fuck else would you go to a Miami football game at that time? Their football team sucked. And it was just okay, we're going to see Ben. That'll be cool. He's a pro football player. And he took, he literally, barely crossed the sideline.
I do remember reading about that. And which it's just that's a young guy who thinks he's got the world on his on his
100%.
shoulders,
and that's what jaded me from I remember it to this day. I'm 30.
Sure.
I'm 30 years
that,
old.
And now that you see him, and he's obviously matured, and he's got kids. He's a different human now than he was.
I think he totally
17 years ago.
And we all are.
Yeah, right. You grow up, you mature, you live, you learn, and obviously there's some mistakes that he made that maybe if he wasn't an NFL player, he doesn't get away with.
Yeah,
but I think everything that happened to him is for the better. Just in regard to the aftermath and his growth as a human. I nothing but respect. He's going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history.
He's going in the Hall of Fame.
Never had a losing season. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. 2 rings.
Never won an MVP though.
Never won an MVP, but he never had a losing season in the NFL.
But at the same time, when you look back at the era
one of the toughest divisions to play over a 2-decade span.
Right, but not only that, you look back at the era of football that we were in at that time, our formidable years, as we call them, 13 to 20.
Sure.
You look back at that time, and you look at the quarterbacks that we had in the league at that time. I'm talking Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning. Yeah, the list. No,
it
okay,
goes
so
on.
Elway wasn't in the league at that time.
No.
I'm just trying to think if there's anybody else that I'm not paying credit to.
Steve McNair, was he still there?
No, McNair wasn't there at that time, or at least not.
Donovan McNabb.
Donovan McNabb with the Eagles, absolutely.
Dante Culpepper still around?
Maybe.
Tail end of his career.
Maybe, yeah, for sure, tail end. Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
I mean, you look at all of these quarterbacks that Ben was up against. To say he didn't win an MVP, it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And you look at, I literally just listed off 15 quarterbacks that played in the same fucking era.
You had Adrian Peterson in his prime, who got 2 of those MVPs.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Who, by the way, Adrian Peterson's probably one of my favorite running backs of all time.
He's an unbelievable talent. I mean, the fact that he still made a couple of rosters this year and played snaps, like.
That motherfucker can collect AARP at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably only in his mid to late 30s, but in NFL terms, he is fucking
He's 100. He's 100 years old. Adrian Peterson 100 years old. Don't fucking tell me otherwise. Fuck it, another quarterback.
But man, like, because another name on that all Big Ben era roster for defensive backs was William Gay.
Yeah.
And the first thing I think of when I think of William Gay is when Adrian Peterson ran him over, stepped on him, and then kept running. That's the only thought that comes to my mind when I think of William Gay, because that was just so disrespectful. And even as a Steelers fan, you're just like, damn.
I mean, how many times did you see Jerome Bettis do that, though?
Oh, tons. I still think to this day the 2 best plays of Big Ben's career were the pass to Santonio and then the tackle against the Colts. When Bettis fumbled on the goal line and Ben tackled that defensive, I don't even remember who it was, but he tackled him at like the 50-yard line and saved a touchdown and ultimately sent them to the Super Bowl, which they won.
So a quick note, as we're talking about the Steelers, I'm not sure. I believe I picked the Ravens.
I went with the Steelers and Todd went with the Ravens.
Okay, so
you both are on board with the Ravens.
You went solo there. News is out that Big Ben will likely be without his top receiver, Deontay Johnson, as he and center Kendrick Green have gone on the reserve COVID-19 list.
Well, I can't sway from anything right now because the math just works in my favor.
Yeah, you can't move your picks,
having a perfect week.
You gotta have a perfect.
Even
week.
if I go 15-1, I will take the cake knowing that I had the best single week
ever. Fantastic, unless I go 15-1 as well. I don't think that's not mathematically possible.
I don't think
so. No. Let's see. So I kind of wanted to talk about the NFL coaching carousel. I wanted to talk about teams that you think could be, because at this point there's only 2 jobs that are open, right? We've got.
Can I stop you right there? I need
Please
to take
do.
a quick bathroom break, and I'll be right back.
Done. Go. I'm going to carry this burden. I'm going to carry this entire chat. Chat, if you're still with me, we got 4 people hanging out in the chat right now. If you're still with us, let us know you're here. Say hello. What are you wearing? How's your evening? You can disregard that last part. Anyway, no, we appreciate you guys hanging out. If you're still with us, I just want to tell you a little bit about Line to Gain, Rally Top Sports in general. Most of the time, what we like to do is have a good time, drink a few beers, talk some football, talk some sports. But at the end of the day, what we really like to do is raise money for charity. We had an opportunity to do such with this past bowl season for college football, doing our college bowl game mania, picking all the games, raising money for the Covenant House in Michigan. And in 2021, we were able to raise nearly $800 for 3 different charities combined. So we really, really appreciate that. And going into 2022, we have the goal of raising $1,500 for different charities. We will have our next charity opportunity out to you guys here within the next month or so. And
how much total did we raise?
So I think we came somewhere around $800 is what we did for 2021 in total. Again, the different charities we were able to touch, the Epilepsy Foundation, nearly $400, Wounded Warrior Project, nearly $200, and the Covenant House of Michigan, which helps with displaced youth throughout the community, and specifically in the Detroit community. They have a Detroit campus and a Grand Rapids campus. We donated to the Detroit campus, and just over $200 there. So about just over $800 total.
Very nice.
Raised. Yeah, fantastic. And we look to keep it moving.
Yeah,
we wanna,
absolutely.
In between, my gaming channel as well, we were able to donate $1,000 to mental health.
Awesome.
In 2021. So between both channels, almost $2,000 in charitable donations between a lot of organizations that do a great thing for our communities.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here. I mean, it's all important. Anything that you can give, please do. We'll be running more donations throughout the year, as Corey said, on both platforms. So
I'm thinking Super Bowl squares. I think that makes the most sense.
I love Super Bowl squares. I will throw.
I'm going to buy as many as I can.
I will throw hundreds of dollars down on Super Bowl squares.
I love it. It's so much fun because it just makes
it adds
game.
excitement to the Super Bowl, which should already be exciting.
Exactly.
Anyway.
I mean, it's already exciting, but then you're like, oh, wait, what squares did I have?
When you put the Skrilla on the line, it's like,
oh, shit, yeah, I won.
I got 7 and 3. That's a great score.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. So, first of all, Bobby, that was the quickest restroom break I have ever witnessed. Congratulations to you on a healthy prostate.
Get out. I didn't wash my hands. It's fine.
Whatever. I mean, people say to me, didn't your parents teach you to wash your hands? I say, no, they teach me not to piss on my hands.
Bingo.
Exactly. It's like we grew up in the same neck of the woods.
It's crazy.
So, coaching carousel. I'm curious. Okay, there's already been 2 coaches that have been fired. Fired, right? You got John Gruden at Las Vegas being the first, Urban Meyer out of Jacksonville. And then you've got a few others that are either on the hot seat or it's like, an unwritten rule that they're gone. Matt Nagy. Rob, I'm curious. Is Matt Nagy gone 100%? Like, do you think he's gone?
First and foremost, Mr. James, he asked us what we were sipping on.
Oh, Rob, what a great plug. I am currently enjoying, and Rob, you're, I believe, an Illinois man. If you ever
Chicago,
yes, if you venture into the Mitten State where I reside, the Great Lakes State, as commonly referred to. Please come and check Shorts Brewery. This is local light. It's an American lager, and it is only 3 carbs. So I've been on the keto kick kind of thing, kicking the carbs. This is one of the first craft brews that's actually a good flavor, good beer, and it's a low carb beer. It tastes better than like a Mick Ultra. I'm a big
Mick Ultra is just water.
You know what? But I enjoy them, especially in the summertime. I play a lot of volleyball in the summer, and I enjoy.
Dude, sand volleyball.
Water volleyball, actually. Ooh. So we play. Sounds tasty. Rob says it is tasty. It's pretty good. So a lot of lakes up here in Michigan. The only difference between Ohio and Michigan is you take all the cornfields and you replace them with lakes. That's it. So we play. My in-laws live on a lake. And we play in about I'd say mid-thigh depth water. We play volleyball. I am in the lower probably 10% in terms of age. We have guys over 70 years old that are out here playing volleyball with us.
7 or 70?
70.
Okay.
And we have a rule, unlimited touches. So it's not 3 touches per side. Just get it over. And that results in 1, we keep the game moving. And 2, some incredible plays. So it's a lot of fun. I've been playing for about 3 years now.
I used to play sand volleyball like 3 nights a week, dude.
Yeah, I played club volleyball at the Bowling Green State University. Rob with a comment here: Mick Ultra, Miller Lite, Bud Light, Busch Light. They all similar in my opinion. Gets the job done. Rob, I feel like me and you could hang out. and it'd be okay. I feel like Rob's our kind of people.
Rob and I have gotten saucy playing Call of Duty quite a few evenings.
That's awesome. So yeah, but no, Shorts Brewery. It's up in northwestern Michigan. It's an awesome. Bel Air is a fucking sweet town. I would love to have property up near Bel Air. It's super super cool, and Shorts is right up there too. So,
well, to bring it back home,
yeah,
you had asked Rob about Matt Nagy, and I quote, "He better be fucking gone."
He better be fucking gone. So, Rob, who do you want? I want to know, who do you want as head coach of the Bears? What is your vision for this team that they currently have? This roster. What do you take from that? And how do you move forward? So we already said the Jags are looking for a head coach. The Raiders are looking for a head coach. We think the Bears might be looking for a head coach. We think the Vikings might be looking for a head coach. Mike Zimmer, is he on the way out?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good possibility. There's not a lot of coaches that get more than a decade to turn their team around. Yeah, I think Marvin Lewis might be the exception. That man had every chance that he wanted. I think the only reason he didn't come back is because he didn't want to.
I don't know about that. I think Marvin Lewis would have collected that paycheck another year. I think
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I think. Well, I don't know.
I think Marvin Lewis. Listen, here's my thing on Marvin Lewis.
Rob said, "I bet we could get Gruden on the cheap."
You could get Gruden on the cheap. You could get Gruden on the cheap. Do you want him though? I think. Look, I came out and said on this podcast, John Gruden is a fraud. He's a fraud. He's not. The league has surpassed him.
I will back Corey up on this. Corey, before we had merged the podcast, he was on his line to gain, and he ranked all the coaches in the NFL prior to the season. And I gave him my top 5, and Gruden was in that top 5. And Corey was like, "You're going to be really pissed off at me because Gruden is a fraud." And then he called this literally 4 months ago, 5 months ago, whatever it was. And you're right.
He got their name. This is like Jadeveon Clowney. The name is bigger than the game. It's 100%. Now, Jadeveon Clowney is actually having a pretty good season for the Browns. He's playing really well. That's it. John Gruden is a fraud. The game has passed him by. And I think Mike Zimmer's in a similar situation. I think Joe Nagy, on the other hand, I think Joe Nagy's just out of his element.
You mean Matt Nagy?
Or Matt Nagy. Sorry. That's my
Joe Nagy.
Joe,
is that his alter ego?
No, that's actually a guy I work with.
Joe, we apologize.
Sorry, Joe.
Sorry that we're running your name through the mud right now.
Joe, you're great at your job. I'm sorry.
Is he though?
He is. He's really good at his job. But Matt Nagy, I think he's just out of. I just don't think he's good. I don't think the game has passed him by, or it's just not like he has the wrong schemes. Or I just don't think he's good at his job. And his offensive scheme, I think, actually is probably the hindrance of it all. I think he literally wants Justin Fields to die.
Jeez.
Yeah, he just doesn't scheme it up to where Justin Fields can be productive. He schemes it up to where it's like, you know what? I want you to stand in the pocket behind this dog shit offensive line and try and be productive. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, Rob with a comment. He's just bad at his job. Exactly. He's just not an NFL coach. And that's okay. Literally, there's only 32 people in the world that can be that. So if you're not that, it doesn't mean you suck as a person. It's okay. His only job now is time management, and he fails at that every time he has the chance. That's Rob's comment. So I think the city of Chicago is ready to move on. The Bears as an organization just don't fire people midseason. That's why he hasn't been fired yet.
Yeah. I mean, they're not a team that's gonna jump the gun. You know, they're gonna do things the right way.
Yeah. They're a classic organization. They are.
They knew that he wasn't the guy probably a third of the way through the season, but they're not gonna,
I think they knew it last year.
Probably, but yeah, I mean, so regardless of where they go, who do you think are potential head coaches in the NFL next year that are not currently head coaches?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me is Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich, current offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, longtime quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Also, backup for the Steelers. Loved having Byron on the team.
Also backup for the Steelers. And Byron has already been requested to be interviewed by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think if you're a Jags fan,
he'd make a great coach.
I think he'd be a fantastic coach. I think the Jaguars have a solid defense. They're not a perfect defense, but they're solid. They have a foundation there on the defensive side of the ball. If you can bring Byron in and what he's been able to do with this Buccaneers offense, I think the city can get behind that, which is what the Jaguars as an organization need. Because listen, if the Jaguars don't get a foundation, if they don't get a city backing, if they don't get a stadium deal, if they don't get all of these things, they're going to London, guys. They're going. They're leaving Jacksonville. Shad Khan is ready to go. He's an international businessman. He has no ties to Jacksonville other than the Jaguars. But if you bring in a guy like Byron Leftwich, a guy that was with Jacksonville for the better part of a decade, the city loves Byron. You're going to get a ton of buy-in. You're going to sell a ton of season tickets.
Yeah, I mean, it was Byron Leftwich and Fred Taylor. Then it was Byron Leftwich and Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yep.
And those were the big names in Jacksonville for the better part of our childhood into our adulthood. And yeah, I mean, I think he'd be a great fit down there. I think he's going to make a great coach. If they don't go with him, I would be blown away, to be completely honest. As much as Urban had success at the collegiate level, I am not a fan of bringing college coaches into the NFL. I don't think they're built for it.
Not directly as a head coach.
I think if they came in as a coordinator, or like a wide receiver.
I mean, you have to start
something
somewhere.
To that effect.
You look at all
the NFL and college they are eons away from each other in regards to how you coach and how you manage that talent. You know, the kids that you get in college, they're 9 times out of 10 just grateful to be there. And then you get to the NFL and it is the best of the best talent, and a lot of it's been around for a while, and they're like, it's just a completely different animal to manage.
Well, you're dealing with grown men. In college, yeah, technically they're men. Like if you were to go on trial, you'd be tried as an adult. But
from a technicality perspective, but from a maturity level,
you look at the human brain. It doesn't stop developing until you're 26 years old in terms of reasoning and logic, as Todd alluded to on Tuesday's town hall. But it's a different type of human. Like, if you want to, you look at a college coach, it would be normal, almost, not entirely, but almost acceptable for a college coach to grab a player by the face mask and yell at him, right? If you do that in the NFL, you're getting your fucking block knocked off.
Yeah, they're going to punch you in the fucking face.
Like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Right,
In some of these situations, the players are older than the coach, right? So it's just an
especially like a
Sean
McVay format.
Sean McVay, Brandon Staley, Zach Taylor. Like, there's players on the roster that are older than these guys.
Right.
Rob with a couple of good comments here. One particular that I want to bring up. Remember, and he's referring to Byron Leftwich here. Remember when he was playing on a broken foot and they had to carry him to the line of scrimmage after the play was over? What a gangster. One of the coolest Byron Leftwich things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, and
the fact that he just, like, the coaches let it go, and it was just one of the coolest moments in NFL
he's like,
history.
yeah, I'm fucking playing.
Like, he's like, I'm gonna play. I don't care if I have to get carried, and he literally got carried to the line and then made plays.
Yes.
It just the first thing that comes to mind is that Matt Stafford moment for the Lions when he fucking dislocates his shoulder and then comes in and throws a game-winning touchdown. Like just those moments like that, like you can't. Those are things that you cannot coach. Like, that's just grit, that's toughness, that's leadership. It's all encompassed, and it just Byron Leftwich may have not ever been a top tier talent quarterback in the NFL, but that type of leadership, people will fall in line and play and give everything they've got for that guy. So, yeah, a couple of great comments there, Rob. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the guys that he's gotten a lot of love over the last couple of years, but a name that's kind of drifted away, and he hasn't been hired. He's been interviewed multiple times, but he hasn't been hired. Is Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, former running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. Why is he not getting a job? Is he a terrible interviewer? Is he only a product? Is the offense's success only a product of Andy Reid? I don't know. I don't understand why he hasn't gotten an opportunity yet. There's been a lot of discussion about race when it comes to Eric Bieniemy being a black man, and the fact that the NFL has a very low percentage of non-white head coaches in the NFL.
I mean, to that point, I think over the last 5 years, I think even 10 years, when Mike Tomlin got hired from the Vikings, Mike Tomlin was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings when he got brought into Pittsburgh. Is that correct? Or was he defense? I can't remember.
He was defensive. He was defensive coordinator.
Yeah, okay. He was defensive coordinator. Like that hire blew everyone out of the water. From my memory, from the way that I remember it going down, like he was not the guy that was.
He was it was a left field hire.
Right. It was like, who the hell is this guy? Why are they bringing him in? And obviously, 15 years later, we know why. This guy's he's an incredible coach. Hasn't had a losing season. Obviously, the first couple of years that we have alluded to in the past, were probably Bill Cowher's team.
Shout out to Abriel with a follow. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's great to get some traction on this. But yeah, but I mean, you had Tony Dungy and Mike Tomlin. I mean, back in that time frame, I can't really think of anybody else. But I mean, in the league today, you've got Brian Flores.
That's it. Brian Flores. You got
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin, and then I'm sorry, what's the name of the Houston coach?
I cannot remember his name for the life of me. But yeah, I mean, I think we're heading more towards a diverse spread of coaches in the NFL, which is great. I personally, I don't think it should come down to that. I think it should just come down to the quality of what you bring to the table. And
it's David Culley. David Culley is the other.
And with that said, I think there are a lot of people from different from different backgrounds that have gotten the shaft. Because it was a predominantly Caucasian head coach league. But I think the league in general is becoming more diverse, more culturally inclusive, which is a great thing. And
I would love to be on that camp. I don't think it is. I think like for the last 15 years we've had 3 coaches max that are African American or not white in general. I think that's kind of where we've been. And
you got Ron Rivera.
I guess. I don't know his origin, his ethnicity or race or whatever. And at the end of the day, it doesn't. I think at the end of the day, it should be about merit. I 100% agree.
Yeah, I don't think it.
But Eric Bieniemy is a coach that has been on one of the top offenses.
He's got a great pedigree. He should be getting an opportunity. 100%.
I don't. Yeah. Why isn't he? Why isn't he? You're gonna.
I don't know.
Yeah. That is the biggest question mark to me, is why one of the guys that is in charge of one of the best offenses in football over the
I would argue the best
over the last 5 years. Yeah, the best offense in football. Why is he not getting an opportunity? I don't know. I just
I mean, there's a couple things come to play. Does he like where he's at? Does he want that
maybe he wants to be an
responsibility?
OC at the Chiefs under Andy Reid.
I
Maybe
mean,
he's in line to take over the Chiefs once Andy Reid retires eventually.
We don't know the dynamics of it. I mean, Andy Reid's, I would assume, is probably pretty close to retirement. He's getting up there. And obviously he's had some health issues over the last couple of years.
Go get him, Rob.
So are you dropping in solo? I'll go get you that dub, baby. I might join you here in a little bit. I'm feeling frisky tonight.
I'm gonna take a quick break. We're gonna finish this coaching talk. I'm gonna use the little boys' room, and then we'll wrap up the stream for the night. I'll be right back.
All right, timing you. But no, I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to, like we were talking about. It's just we don't know the dynamics of it, but at the end of the day, I think there needs to be more opportunities for everyone, if that's something that they're looking for in that realm as far as coaching goes. But there's going to be a lot of changes in the offseason. As we had mentioned, there are a ton of teams that are going to be looking for new head coaches. And I think the thing for me, when it comes from a coaching perspective and being a fan of a team that has had two coaches, but really three coaches over probably the last 4 decades, is that why can't some teams figure it out? And that's the question I'm going to ask Corey when he gets back. Oh, excuse me. The Steelers had Mike Tomlin and they had Bill Cowher. And then prior to that, they had Chuck Noll for a long time. And, it shouldn't be that difficult to find somebody to lead your franchise for a couple decades. I mean, for me, I think there's a lot of teams that take that job and they just put it on the carousel. They're not really taking the time to invest and really vet these coaches that they're bringing in to lead their future. I mean, I think their mindset is we want wins now versus we want to build something over time that's going to last. And I think that is a lot of the problem that a lot of franchises have in today's NFL. Corey, just to update you on what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I was just talking about the quality of coaching candidates in the NFL. And, like, for example, the Steelers have had like 3 coaches over the last 40 years.
Yeah, insane.
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin.
Very rare.
And then you've got a team like the Browns who have had 3 coaches in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And why don't teams invest in one person long term and take time to vet and pick the guy that's going to be right and bet on the long game as opposed to wanting to win now and trying to get somebody in here that's going to work, short term. I think that's a big thing that's wrong with the way that coaches are picked in the NFL, is that people aren't picking for the long game. They're picking for the short-term gain.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I've mentioned it a couple of times on this show that I think head coaches should be viewed in a similar light as our rookie quarterbacks. If you're if you're a new head coach in a team, let me back up. If you're a rookie quarterback and you come in and you have a year that's bad, your first year is bad, the team's not going to write you off. They're going to say, "Oh, you're a rookie. You're a rookie. It's okay. He's going to have growing pains. It's going to be okay." If you're a head coach, look at Dan Campbell. When Dan Campbell first came out and the Lions went, 0-11, 0-12, something before they got the first one? They lost a lot of football games. The city of Detroit consistently was going, all right, is it time? All right, do we need to move on? Is this it? All right, do we need to go get a new head coach? Who are some candidates that we could go out and get? I don't think that's right. Even Urban Meyer, had he not been a complete pile of shit, I think he deserved another year outside again.
Yeah, I agree. The one and done head coach is the biggest just no for me.
It's so stupid.
That's like just even in like a professional work career that you have. Like when I was at Enterprise, I was a first-time branch manager. Like I'm not going to go there and get it right immediately. I'm going to fuck up. I'm going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm going to piss people off and get bad customer service scores because I take something from a very bad point of view. And, as the years go on and I become a more mature manager and human being, I'm going to make better decisions because I have the experience. First-time head coaches should be treated as brand new managers.
But not only that, I think they need to build their roster according to what they want to scheme. When they take over a team, it's not currently organized in their vision. It's currently organized in the vision of the prior coach that failed.
Correct.
So they're going to fail.
You have to break bad habits. You have to come in there. You have to get to know your personnel.
So
you have to get them to get on board with you as a human, and then that's when you can start instilling change. But that doesn't happen in 1 year.
So perfect example of this. I honestly, again, I keep going back. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. Look at Zach Taylor. Look at that defense. Specifically, look at their defense. How many players currently starting on that defense were drafted by Marvin Lewis? Guess. 1 to 11, how many players?
4.
2.
That was close.
Jesse Bates and Sam Hubbard. That's it. All the rest were either drafted by Zach Taylor or brought in. Cheeto, Von Bell, right? Larry Ogunjobi, Trey Hendrickson, B.J. Hill, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt. None of these guys are Marvin Lewis era guys. It took him 3 years to turn this roster over. Listen, to say that a coach can come in 1 year and lay his philosophy on the table and everybody's just going to eat it up and it's going to just turn bad players into good players is just silly. It's just silly. So
unless it's Tom Landry,
yeah,
or Mike Dick or somebody with an incredible coaching career.
Or just somebody...
you're not just gonna bow to somebody when they walk in.
Football's different. But football's different now. It's just different. Everything is different, and it should be adapted as such. And so I think the biggest coaching question marks are Minnesota, Chicago, obviously Vegas, Jacksonville, New York Giants. There's a question around Joe Judge, whether or not he'll be brought back. We'll see. Anything else?
Lots to talk about over the next couple of weeks. Coming up on Tuesday, we will be breaking down the playoff matchups.
Can't wait.
Everything is going to be decided by Monday. Well, I would say probably Saturday. Monday night for sure, but more than likely Saturday, Sunday.
No, Sunday night, everything's done. There's no games on Monday, so we're just Saturday and Sunday. That's it. Sunday night, playoffs.
So Tuesday, we're going to have lots to talk about. Town Hall. We need everybody to be in there so we can have just awesome dynamic. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. We had a lot of action in the chat.
Absolutely.
You guys were incredible. Big shout out to Rob, Bruce, Katie, Liz, everybody that came in and participated. We appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, everybody liking and sharing the stream. It's a huge help to us, and we really appreciate it. You guys make the show. You make it everything that it is, so we really appreciate it.
And moving forward, we're going to work on getting some special guests on the show to sit here and talk football with us, whether it is all three of us, whether it is just Corey and Todd, or me and Corey, or me, myself and Todd. Whatever it is, we're gonna work on making the content more engaging for you guys. We love the interaction in the chat. That's what we're all about. So we want to talk to you guys. That's why we're here. We don't want this to be just you guys listening to us and rant. Although we do go on some tangents sometimes, especially about airports and things like that. So
no.
But no, appreciate everybody coming out. We're going to have a lot to talk about Tuesdays. Put it on your calendars. And we'll catch you then. You have anything else, sir?
King of the North. Love you guys. We'll see you later. Clear.